In a world of constant change, where ideas clash and everyone is shouting to be heard, some people seem to pop up out of nowhere and make a huge impact. They share a vision, find followers, and start a movement. This is the story of one of those people, Charlie Kirk. Picture this, a young man, just barely an adult, but with a conviction that's rock solid. The year is 2012. A major presidential election is happening. While most people his age are worrying about college applications or what's trending in pop culture, 18-year-old Charlie Kirk is laser-focused on politics. He's convinced that a crucial point of view is getting lost, especially among his own generation. He sees a gap, a silence where he believes conservative voices should be heard loud and clear. From this simple belief, an idea started to grow. Not in some fancy office, but in a very ordinary place. Like a dorm room or a small shared apartment, with hardly any money, but driven by a single-minded goal. He started putting words to ideas that he felt were fundamental truths. He believed in individual liberty, free markets, and a small government principles he saw as being attacked or misunderstood by younger people. This wasn't just about political theory for him. It was a deep concern for the country's future. He saw a growing disconnect between traditional American values and what was being taught in schools and shown in the media. He argued that the mainstream often brushed off for twisted conservative ideas, leaving young people with a one-sided picture. This gap in understanding became his mission. So, in 2012, Charlie Kirk teamed up with Bill Montgomery and co-founded Turning Point USA. The name itself hints at a big change, a new direction. Their initial goals sounded simple: to find, educate, train, and organize students to promote freedom, free markets, and limited government. But behind that simplicity was a huge ambition to challenge what they saw as liberal dominance on college campuses. The early days were a tough grind. Just imagine a young Charlie, full of energy, traveling all over the country. He'd often speak to just a handful of students in poorly lit meeting rooms on campus. He was fueled by idealism, but also a practical sense that if you want to make a difference, you have to show up, talk to people directly, and give a voice to those who feel ignored. He was often met with skepticism, sometimes even open hostility, but his belief rarely wavered. He quickly learned how to handle tough conversations, how to frame his points, and how to connect with people one-on-one. As Turning Point USA grew, so did Charlie's fame. He became a regular on conservative media, a young, articulate voice who wasn't afraid to challenge the status quo. His message clicked with a part of the youth population that felt left out of the mainstream political conversation. They saw Charlie as someone they could relate to, someone who spoke their language and understood their concerns. He wasn't some old, out-of-touch politician. He was an emerging leader. But this rise to fame wasn't simple. As Turning Point USA became a national name, attracting big donors and media attention, it also came under intense scrutiny. Critics often accused the organization of oversimplifying its message, of pushing partisan talking points instead of encouraging real debate. They argued that focusing on owning the libs or triggering snowflakes actually cheapened serious intellectual discussion, turning complex issues into quick soundbites. For those on the other side of the political aisle, Charlie Kirk came to represent everything they were against. They saw his language as divisive, his arguments as weak, and his organization as a gateway to right-wing extremism. His appearances on campus were often met with protest, which really highlighted the deep ideological divides in the country, divides that some say he both exposed and made worse. This conflict, this head-on clash of opposing views, became a key part of his public image. One of the most brilliant parts of Charlie Kirk's strategy was his mastery of digital media. He understood the power of social media, podcasts, and online videos to bypass traditional news outlets and reach millions of people directly. His content was often designed to go viral, using sharp, short arguments and provocative statements that cut through all the noise online. While this approach was super effective for building an audience, it also fueled the criticism that he cared more about getting clicks than having a deep, nuanced discussion. He's often credited or blamed for making certain terms and ideas popular among young conservatives, from discussions about free speech zones to critiques of cancel culture. He's built an impressive network of young conservative activists, turning Turning Point USA into a major force in youth politics, able to rally thousands for events and campaigns. The organization's influence now goes far beyond college campuses, reaching high school students and young professionals as well. However, if you look closer, you'll see there are still gaps in understanding just how influential he really is. How deeply does his message really resonate with people who don't already agree with him? Is he genuinely persuading people, or just firing up his base? These are questions that are still up for debate, showing just how hard it is to measure the true impact of online political movements. His journey hasn't been without personal challenges or public slip-ups. Like anyone in the public eye, he's faced backlash, had old statements dug up and criticized, and had to defend his positions against a constant stream of criticism. But through it all, he has kept evolving, changing his strategies and growing his platform. Today, Charlie Kirk is a major, though polarizing, figure in American political conversation. He built an empire from a single idea, giving a voice to a conservative youth movement that many thought didn't even exist. He challenged the narrative, created a platform, and mobilized a generation. Whether you agree with his politics or strongly oppose them, his impact on modern conservatism and youth activism is impossible to deny. He is a powerful example of how conviction, combined with a smart understanding of media and organization, can turn one person's vision into a national movement that changes the conversation for good. So, what can we learn from his incredible journey? Well, as Nelson Mandela said, the greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. And Theodore Roosevelt's words also come to mind: believe you can and you ray halfway there. Finally, Steve Jobs said it best: the only way to do great work is to love what you do. We pour a huge amount of time and resources into bringing you these stories to educate, inspire, and make you think. Every fact is checked, and every story deserves your attention because knowledge is power. I would love to hear from you. What other topics should we explore next? Let me know in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please give it a like, share it with others, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, and take care of yourself and your family.